Today marks 1226 days sharing lessons I learned. I'll continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help you achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about spirituality, faith levels. I want to share my experience. Like, what kind of levels did I went through to really achieve, I guess, the best level so far in really spirituality, in faith, and understanding, because every single person will have different kind of experiences, different kind of levels, different levels where they start, and that's a beautiful part about faith, because it's not there's no one answer. Everyone has different journey towards something more meaningful for them. So today we'll share 7 levels, 7 steps that I went through to really achieve the highest level of spirituality that I have so far. And I think that one thing that I want to mention that is not that straightforward. It's not that going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You kind of go like 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. So that means you can go backwards. Because if you are not investing in your spirituality, if you're not growing, you potentially go backwards because you're surrounding yourself with people that are thinking differently. You not question it, their ways. You don't improve. You don't get better. Exactly the same, like almost like everything in life. Like everything in life is like a muscle. When you work on it, you improve it. When you forget about it, you lose it. So they will share 7 steps, 7 steps that I think that majority of people, I think that this is just a majority of people need to go through to really achieve that success in spirituality and faith. Number one is unbelief or absence of faith. It might be even ignorance. Because, of course, some people know that there is some kind of faith, people believe in faith, but I'm just ignorant. I don't want you even to look into that. Some people just want to reject. They are aware. They have listened to other people believe, but reject faith. And I was that kind of person. I was unbelief, and I rejected even the idea about belief. And I think that something that shows close-mindedness. I was pretty narrow-minded when I was a young individual. I was pretty close-minded. That's why I decided to leave my small country and move to Canada because I wanted to open up. I wanted to open up, but of course I didn't want to open up in spirituality at the big. I wanted to open up in worldview, understand about business and everything in between. So the first level was unbelief, and that's where I started. I rejected faith, I rejected spirituality, and I thought this is not for me. I thought like I'm a strong person, I could believe myself, and that's totally fine. But I learned that most strong people that I know, they are believers. They are believers. I don't say that it's every single person needs to be a believer, but I found that people that I really admire who has a generous heart, who are really very inspirational, and is very nice to follow them, and I aspire to be like them, is people who really believe. And at that moment, I start to be uncertain, start doubt my unbelief. I start to question my unbelief, and that's a great position to be in because you become very curious. So why other people believing that? Why? What is the reason behind it? You start to really look the videos. Maybe you attend the church even though that you don't believe it, because you start being curious. Why people go in church? Why they do that? Why they pray? Why does this? There's a lot of why. And it's a beautiful thing because like babies born and they have a lot of questions why. And I think that's what you say that there is sometimes 2 births. First time when you birth physically, and there is second birth when you birth spiritually. And it's very, very important because it's uncertain. It could be that one of the levels that you burn again. And then you need to develop and you have so many questions why. And we have babies. And you be careful. I mean, you have someone to take care of us because we will not be able to stand and walk if you don't have someone to really take care of us in that uncertainty level. So next level is hope. I think that hope is that really desire to have that faith would be true. So being able to have that seeking mentality, I want to be true. I want to develop understanding. I want to develop relationship with my faith. And it's a hope because you don't believe it yet, but you hope that it's true because there are so many blessings that could come out of it, and you know that like there are so many great things come out of faith, and I would love to have it. I would love to develop it. And it's a great thing. That's almost like a teenager trying to understand, okay, where you want to go and what is the purpose. So like third level is the hope. And after hope, what is goes into belief. And this is a great place to be in, because you accept letters of faith. But you accept intellectually. You accept, you look into all the proof, you look into the evidence, and you start to say that, yeah, that's all the evidence shows that faith, that Bible is true, and I'm supposed to follow it. That's a great place to be in, because you start to acknowledge spiritual truth, spiritual understanding, and you start to really acknowledge spiritual teachings and start to live by them. That's the beginning of really living by spiritual truths, because you believe it. You believe that it's true. But that's not where it stops, because that's the next level is faith. Faith is a beautiful place, because now you moving from belief that those spiritual truths are right, and you start to acknowledge them. But faith is when you start living by them. You start to really look into what kind of spiritual belief, what kind of spiritual rule I could live by. So you start to have that anchor, because faith is a great anchor. When you have a bad day, you have faith, and you're able to find a spiritual truth that you can follow. It's a beautiful thing, because it's shaping, at faith, spirituality starts shaping your identity, your character. And of course, when you think about people who are faithful, of course they have different kind of character. Of course they have different identity. Of course they have different behaviors, because people at belief level sometimes don't change much their behaviors. Maybe a little bit start to adjusting, but faith is really drastically start to adjusting their behaviors, because they know that those spiritual truths are truths and facts. But faith, this is just on the fifth level. There is even more beyond that. And what is sixth level? What's the sixth level? Sixth is trust. So when you have deep reliance and confidence in your faith. And this is very important, because it means that you start to rely everything, almost everything, on the Bible. So that means that when you have trouble in your life, you rely not on your own confidence, but you're able to really look into really always the Bible and reflect and rely. Because I think that people who really have at that level trust God, trust Bible. They have so much more confidence in themselves, in their life, because they rely something on more powerful. Because when you rely on yourself, you still sometimes you could fail. But when you rely on Bible, when you rely on God, there's no chance that Bible will fail you or God will fail you. Only people could fail. Only people could fail. So being able to trust God, trust, and in other words, that's the deepest level of understanding of the Bible. But even though that you move from faith to trust, there's even more powerful level. And this is I think that not every single person, because every single thing in life is that we have beginners, we have more advanced, we have experts. And I think that people who are experts in faith, I think that they achieve that the last level, and that is surrender. Surrender. I think that's such a powerful thing that I heard so many people, even Luke Belmer, I think, said that one of the things that really helped him to really move to another level in finances and development in life is that when he really made a prayer and said that, I surrender my life to you. So that's rather than looking into our heart and looking what I want for this life, we're asking, okay, God, what do you want to do with my life? What do you want to do with my life? So surrendering your whole life, because I really love that Urban McManus as also like what he said, that when we surrender our life, when we become truly free with our life, when we trying to grab some kind of desires of our life, sometimes we're not free and not able to achieve that desire. But with finally surrender our life, we get the life that we really want, because I get blessings. The things start to resource comes to our way. So being able to surrender is like, God, I surrender everything to you. and I know that you will use me in the best possible way. And that's I think that that's the spot that we're able to move towards. And again, one thing that I said for me story, I surrender, then I went back to trust, then I went back to faith, then I went back to trust, because I'm not perfect. Sometimes I used to forget about my practices, about my behaviors, about reading my Bible, about praying, about going to church, understanding myself, having a relationship with Jesus. That is again one thing that we need to constantly do, because if you really stop connecting with your friends, when you stop connecting with your wife or husband, if you stop connecting with your family, what happens to that relationship? Of course it goes lower. It doesn't, you're not able to nurture a relationship if you don't invest into that. So being able to surrender and say like, I will give you my time. And I think the one thing that's what I love about, really, I remember which one I was listening to a person, but when you start loving a relationship with God, when you start loving reading a Bible, of course you will be looking forward to it, because sometimes I think that we're looking as a marker. Oh, I done it. I finished. I read it, rather than using it as a relationship nurturing thing. And I think that when you truly surrender, I think that you're able to be so much more open, because I think that until you surrender, sometimes people who do not surrender have that maybe belief or faith. They are very close. I was just reading this one thing and that's it. But I think that when you surrender, you start to be so much more open, because you surrender. You're looking for research. You're looking for ideas. You start reading different kind of books. You start connecting different kind of people, with believers or not believers, with different ideas, with the ideas that you don't connect with, because you are so open and free. So I think that is the most freeing thing to do: surrender yourself. Because I think that only the true leaders are able to surrender, because surrendering is vulnerability. Saying that I'm not most powerful, I'm very powerful. When I surrender, I could really be the leader. I think that people who really surrender are the best leaders, because they show that they are not perfect. They'll never be. But there's just like more. It transcends into something more powerful than themselves. I think in that moment they are much more willing to really take care of others and really lead in the highest level. Because when I think about mentor or guide, I always looking if that person that I would love to get mentored by, do they have a mentor? Do they have a guide? Do they have someone that they aspire to be? And the people who are faithful, who surrender, and they have that role model, they have that piece that they're going towards. I think that is such a powerful thing to have. So how do you reflect as well? One thing that I know that for me, faith is one of the topics that I do not preach. I always share as what is in my heart, because I think that it's not given in my heart to really preach and share and say like this is what you need to do. I know that there's a lot of people who do that, who share like this, that Jesus loves you and that you need to be with Jesus. But for me, I never had that. I don't know. For me, Jesus never gave me, or faith never gave me to share my faith as much. Maybe share my experiences of how I grew. But I think that faith is something in my mind. I think that in my level of understanding is something that we need to really live a life the way how Jesus lived, the way how we live, and really show the example. And that's I think the highest level, because I think that that's the only way. That's the only way to bring people to awareness. Because I think that as I said, how I went from unbelief to uncertainty, to hope, to belief, to faith, trust, and surrender. I think that a lot of times people stay on unbelief because they just are treated not in the right way, and understand what the true faith truly means. And I think that being open is the key to success in every single person. To believer, to unbeliever, it doesn't matter. And I think that the beautiful part is to truly be able to be in a position to really add value to people in any possible way. So, and serve people. That's just a beautiful part, being able to serve people. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.